Hi everyone, the purpose of this brief tutorial is to show you how to share your media and your photographs and the different options that you can explore in order to do that. First of all, we're going to take a look at the toolbar menu down here at the bottom of my screen. I'm currently in the Express Organizer looking at my library of photographs. At the moment here on the left hand side it's highlighted my Halloween album, and that's because I'm currently in there looking at Halloween pictures. Now this particular album, if you remember from one of our earlier videos, was shared. So it's now a shared album, which allows us to do a little bit more with it. So for example, if I click on a particular photograph, once again I can choose photo options, and down here, as we explored earlier, I can choose some of the same options like share media as I can by choosing it from this menu here on the bottom. So once again, more than one way of doing something. So let's select a particular photo I want to share, and I have two ways of doing this. First of all, I can share media, which allows me to share this particular one photograph either with somebody via email, like so. Obviously I'm sending this to myself just for training purposes. And also if I wanted to, if I had particular contacts and friends listed here in Photoshop here, I could click on this icon here and it would take me to that and allow me to select addresses from there. But at the moment I'm just typing it in, and then I would click share. Okay, and then that's it. So in a minute, if I check my email account, I would see that share. We'll come back to that in a second. But if I go back to that same function and share media once again, you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, I have two other options. This first option says I can copy the code to embed this particular photo or video, if it was a video, into a website. And what that's going to do is give you a series of what we call HTML code, hypertext markup language, and it's going to allow you to paste that into a particular blog and share that photograph if you wanted to. Further to the left hand side, I could actually use this to copy the URL of this particular photograph and send that URL to somebody separately. So you just have some other options down here, but in most cases you're probably going to want it to share it directly to somebody via email. The other option that you have here is in an album that has already been shared, you have the option here to share it further. So if I click on it, once again it'll open up a separate dialog box, and it reminds us that this album is already shared, and once again I can share it with others. If you remember from the earlier video, I had already shared it with myself, but that's fine. And I could choose somebody else to share it here, and either as a slideshow or indeed a web page, and then I would click share. But the three areas that I wanted to demonstrate to you this time round, as we've already seen this before, is on the left hand side. Once again I have three further options. The first one is to publish this particular album to either Facebook, WordPress or other social sites. In the middle one, once again I can take just the URL, but it won't take the URL of one particular photograph. In this instance now it's going to actually take it of the entire album's slideshow. Now, if this particular album didn't have a slideshow, then that button would be grayed out. On the left-hand side to the furthest, this will allow me to take the URL of the entire album's gallery page. So if you wanted to share the entire gallery, you would come in here and take the URL and send that to somebody. Now, because this album is shared, it's allowed me to do that. But if I close this and choose a private album, for example, my Croatia album, get rid of that. I'm now in a separate album, and if I come to share album and it opens up that same dialog box, you'll notice that these features here on the left hand side are grayed out, and if I hover my mouse over them it doesn't give me the tooltip to tell me what I can do with them. And that's because this is a private album, so those particular features have been disabled. If I made this album public, then I would be able to share it directly on Facebook and within blogs and share the URL as we've already seen. But it's all linked to the privacy settings that you have created for each album. So that's something to be aware of as you're planning to share. So the final thing that I just wanted to show you is, once again, if we click on a particular image and choose the drop down menu from photo options, like so. You'll notice on the right hand side I have some comments displayed, or not as the case may be, but I have the option. And you'll notice in the drop down menu I can actually switch off allow commenting, which means that people will not be able to comment on my photographs. But really that's kind of the point and the fun of it. So I'm going to come back and switch that on. So you can see now, if I click on that downward arrow, I've actually enabled comments. And on the right hand side, I would see any comments that people had posted. And in the little bubble here, it would tell me how many comments would be there. And if I clicked on it, it would show me them. So in this instance, there aren't any, but you can see where they would be posted. In the next tutorial shortly, we will look at how you can continue sharing, but this time across social networks.